thought about this a couple of weeks ago. How to, not how to, but am I willing to suck at something because I know it's part of the process of being good at something? And so, am I willing to be a beginner with the embarrassment that might incur in order to get better at something? And I think that as adults, um, as opposed to children, we have a problem with being embarrassed, being sucking at something, which is why we usually stay within our comfort zone. But I think the people who are business people, for example, businessmen, they were willing to go through the growing pains of sucking at whatever it is that they were building, growing, scaling. And I think that, and I see it with the people I work with that stay within their comfort zone. They're smart people, they're good people, but they stay within their comfort zone and then they wonder why their business is not growing. And so it's interesting because there's a parallel that can be made um, to a physical activity, to a new hobby, to a new sport, to a new skill you're learning, right? Where at the gym, for example, well, if you're out of shape, um, you have to go to the gym and realize, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym a couple of times and it's not going to make much of a difference. I'm not going to get my abs within a week or a day or even a month. I'm going to have to trust the process that I'm going to get a little better every week, every month. And eventually the exercises that were difficult are going to get easier eventually. That's the thing. You have to be able to delay gratification. And that's where most people are stuck, I think. Including myself. I'm not excluding myself from this conversation or this monologue. Same thing with a new sport. You want to pick up tennis. You want to pick up maybe learn how to box like myself, or at least box in a heavy bag, or golf, which is hard as hell. You're gonna suck in the beginning. So are you going to say, okay, I don't want to feel this embarrassment that I have to myself, or am I going to say, hey, it's part of it. It's part of the game. It's part of learning, and it's okay. So I think we have to ask ourselves, are we okay with asking stupid questions? Are we okay with sucking at something? I think I've never had a problem asking stupid questions, even when I think about back in, I think it's one of my qualities, which served me in my previous careers as well. I don't mind being ridiculed. I don't mind ridiculing myself on camera when I used to perform on camera. And so it also makes me think of when I was in college. I was always sitting in the back. Always sitting in the back because I like to be private. I like to be able to do my own thing in the back. I don't want people to look at me. But I would always raise my hand and ask questions. And sometimes there were maybe stupid questions, but I knew other people in the room had the same questions, and I knew maybe they weren't, um, didn't have the courage or the balls, or they just didn't care enough to know and raise their hand and ask the professor the question. So I would, because I wanted to know. If nothing else, if that question or that topic would be addressed in the test, I wanted to know what the answer was so I could be prepared. And sometimes I think there were dumb questions, and I remember a couple of times where some of my classmates would turn around when they were in front of me and would ask a question. I forgot which class it was. I think I don't know if it was a criminal justice class or I'm not sure it was a criminal justice class or a childhood education class. I'm not sure. And they would turn around and kind of roll their eyes at me like, oh, this guy again with his fucking question. So, but I think the ability to not worry about embarrassment is a great tool. I think it's a great tool. And I think as adults we lose it because children don't think that way. Children, especially young children, they don't care about the outcome or the result of what they're doing. You know, and I think that they enjoy the process. They're very present in the moment, and I think that it's something that we could